The city of Indianapolis is world famous for racing, and boy, did it turn on some phenomenal Monster Energy AMA Supercross racing as we welcome you to the SMX Insider post-race show from round 9 of the championship for 2023. Welcome inside Lucas Oil Stadium. Lee Diffie and the GOAT, Ricky Carmichael. I could tell by your genuine enthusiasm and excitement, this was a phenomenal night of racing.
This place was absolutely rocking. I always love coming here to watch the racing, loved racing here.
It was good. Let's get you to the 250 highlights, because there was a lot to talk about with championship leader Hunter Lawrence looking to keep and extend that lead.
Well, this guy has been on a roll all season long, and that's because he was able to figure out had a great season last year, and he has been just about picture perfect all season long. Looks very comfortable on the motorcycle. What an incredible start, Lee.
So too did Chris Blows.
Yeah, he was fast all day long, and he ran up front. He was up here dicing with the boys. Look at that, all the Monster Energy Yamaha Star Racing riders together. And look, and they weren't giving their teammates any room here either.
This was kind of like practice track riding. They were whipping it up amongst each other. How about on the 6, Jeremy Martin on the Club MX Yamaha as he ducked up the inside of Max Anstey. He wasn't stopping for anybody.
No, and he had a lot of speed. If he hadn't gotten a bad start, I think he could have been podium. I really do believe that. He's in great shape, and he was vibing on this track. He's won here in the past. He's a veteran in these conditions.
This was a big moment in the race. Comfortably out in front, Hunter Lawrence collides with Brock Pappy, and that could have been disastrous.
That could have been brutal. Hunter Lawrence is extremely lucky nothing happened to him or his bike for that matter.
Speaking of things happening, how about Danger Boy? On
rookie.
The podium last week, off the bike this week.
That's right, the rookie, the whoops bit him. He'll learn from this. He has learned from every lesson this season. It's been pretty impressive how he's been able to make the adjustment the next weekend.
So, when the checkered flag was readied, there was one guy ready to take it yet again for the 4th time in this 2023 East Coast Championship. That's Hunter Lawrence. And what a job he did. Yep, extends his championship lead. Thrilled with that. Thanks, Jordan Smith. He's flanked by a couple of Monster Energy Star Yamaha riders, and the smile says it all. Let's take you to results so you can see where your favorite rider was. Other than the podium guys, who stood out for you?
Chris Blows, I think that he was definitely had a lot of speed all day long. Great run for Cullen Park. He was fast today. Another good ride for Jace Owen up there in the top 11 as well.
I can tell you that Blows and Cullen Park and Cody Shop all got season best results. So a lot to pick through there with the 250 main from Indy. But let's take you to the winner. Let's hear what Hunter Lawrence had to say with Daniel Blair.
Thank you, Lee. I'm with Hunter Lawrence, the winner of the main event. And Hunter, what a night and what a day. Fastest qualifier, you win the heat race, you whole shot the main, and then win the main on brutal conditions. What's it feel like to put together just an absolutely complete performance?
Unreal. We work so hard for these days, and I want to dedicate this to a young Australian rider that lost their life recently, Braden Urbacher. This one's for you, buddy. I know you're over there keeping me safe out there on such a gnarly track. I didn't personally know him, but could only imagine what his friends and family and the motocross industry back home is going through. So this one's for you, all your friends and family, buddy. You were riding with me out there and kept me safe on a gnarly track. So this one's for him.
Congratulations, Hunter.
Yes, and we echo those sentiments wholeheartedly. We take you to the points. We mentioned earlier that Hunter Lawrence had extended his championship lead. That's exactly what he's done over Max Anstey. And RC, you pointed this out. Thrasher was the big mover, jumping up 3 positions from 6th to 3rd.
Yeah, huge move by Nate Thrasher. But look at those points. 3 points from 3rd to 6th. A lot on the line. There's a lot of pride on the line and money implications, bonus monies to be in the top 3, I'm guessing, for these riders. So it's anybody's game for that top 3 position. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. But I just got to tell you, man, that Hunter Lawrence is going to be really tough to beat. I feel like Nate Thrasher is probably the next guy that has the best opportunity. As I say that, Jordan Smith was really fast tonight, especially in time qualifying practice as well. But they have to take advantage of those moments when they present themselves. And I feel like Jordan Smith kind of lost that moment tonight because he had the speed to do it.
So Nate Thrasher said, not because of the Daytona incident, but he said simply by Hunter Lawrence being the championship leader that there's a target on his back. Of course there is. But you know what? Lawrence is sustaining, he's handling that pressure, and he's growing under that pressure because extending his championship lead. But things could have gone very wrong tonight. We're going to take you back and show you this incident again. It was late in the race with Brock Pappy. Watch this. Boom. Looks pretty innocuous there until you look at the front on-camera angle, slow-mo. Talk us through it.
Yeah, right there. He wasn't expecting Brock Pappy to come down like that, and that was a huge hit. I mean, it was like metal to metal.
Throttle hand came off.
Throttle hand, and Hunter's lucky his hand didn't get caught between the two handlebars. So he dodged one on that one, and luckily he escaped.
So, despite that, in spite of that and handling that and going on from that, the numbers just get more impressive for Hunter Lawrence. He has now led 58% of the laps in this 250 East Championship season. So that shows you what a force he is to contend with. Right, let's check in with Will Christian on her thoughts of the night. What did you think, Will?
Thank you, Liam. Ricky, yeah, sticking with handling things is the subject there. I want to bring that up when in regards to Nate Thrasher. Ricky, you talked about it there in the race. You brought up his lack of an ACL right now with the injury that happened, that he's riding through. He's riding with, you know, for the last few rounds here. When he was up on the podium, Nate Thrasher just impressed me with his poise. We were talking just kind of before his podium interview about the race, and I said, you know, this is going to be obviously a tough track for everybody, but it's got to be even tougher when you're nursing that kind of injury. And young Nate, he wasn't having any of that. He just simply said, no excuses. That is not an excuse. No, I just, you know, I need to be better. Constantly pushing himself, constantly in that position where it's like, win or lose, you get the same reaction from Nate, and that is, we will keep working, we'll keep pushing. So just incredible. He's only young, and just to have that kind of poise and the sheer determination that he had was just very impressive to me. So yes, now I have mentioned the ACL, even though he didn't want me to, but just amazing what he managed to do tonight. That was a tough track, and it has to be made tougher when you're riding with that kind of an injury.
Good stuff, Will. Want to remind everybody about SMX Insider. It's every week on Thursdays with our very own Daniel Blair. Jason Wygant, the king of the calculator. Clinton Fowler chimes in as well with all of the important numbers. And that's on the SuperMotocross.com YouTube channel as well. So looking forward to that each and every week. SMX Insider, really good information and follow-up on what is happening in this inaugural season of the Super Motocross World Championship. Let's click it up a gear. Let's go to 450s. What a night. My goodness. Ken Roczen back in the winner's circle.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Well, first of all, Kenny is plenty capable of winning Supercross, and that bike and team is capable of it. I just didn't see it happening. Although he was fast in qualifying practice today, Justin Barsha was fast, and I just where we're at in the season, I thought that the big three were going to rise to the occasion, but man, were we treated.
I'm gonna, you know, this is a SMX Insider post-race show. I'm gonna give you some insight. Our producer, Chris Bond, goes and interviews the riders on Media Day before each and every weekend. Not every rider, but right. Key riders. I was standing with Chris yesterday, and he interviewed Ken Roczen, and Roczen was totally upfront about, we're doing suspension things, we're doing this, we're getting there, we're getting there. But he said, one key thing for me is I have not been getting good starts. He said, mark my words, if I get a good start in a main, I can win. And that happened.
Voila, here we go.
Voila.
I mean, and he managed that lead like 3.5 seconds. It was 3.5 seconds for, it seemed like an eternity. And you looked up and you're like, still, we're not even halfway yet. I was like, wow, feels like we've been racing. They've been racing for 20 minutes. That wasn't the case. It got down to the wire there. But, man, great job, Kenny.
The story gets better for Roczen. Yeah. Take a look at this. He has now qualified for the Super Motocross World Champ. Like, he doesn't have to worry about playing the points game
right.
by being a win. He's in. He qualifies to contend to become the inaugural Super Motocross World Champion in 450s, where there's $1 million on the line for that very first champion. Let's take you to the highlights. So let's stop talking about it. Let's look at it. Here at Lucas Oil Stadium, there's a lot of talk about Chase Sexton because he looks so strong, so good in his heat victory.
He always has been bringing a lot of speed this year, especially What an incredible start. And look at, there's that start you were talking about, Kenny Roczen. Look at Adam Cianciarulo, number 9 there, coming up the inside, just getting a great run. These guys run really aggressive here early on to try to get up as far as they can. Look, he almost, number 9.
That was a huge save.
Oh, a huge save, and Cooper Webb got lucky. He didn't get taken down.
It was a promising night for Adam Cianciarulo on his return after 2 rounds away. Webb really pressured Roczen early on.
Yeah, it seemed like it would have been a different deal had Cooper been able to get by the 94, but 23 goes on. You're like, uh-oh, 23 is going to make it. But check this crash out. That rut was really deep, and Chase goes through that rut, and he leans the bike over, and it catches his foot peg. Not sure if it caught his shifter as well, because I broke my collarbone by an almost exact crash like that. So it'll be interesting to see what he has to say.
And then bring the action. In the bright yellow, Barsha on Cooper Webb. Webb was kind of hampered through the ruts in the whoops. He kept taking that central line, and Barsha was taking an alternative line, and he was able to go that. This was a big moment. Dean Wilson goes down on the Firepower Honda in front of Eli Tomac. That brought Christian Craig a lot closer, and Craig was able to capitalize that. This hurt Tomac points-wise.
Well, and that's why eventually he will lose the red plate because of that particular pass right there.
So, back to the front. 1 yellow bike, 1 guy dressed in yellow. Ken Roczen, Justin Barsha. This crowd of, I'm guessing, about 60,000 were going crazy for this.
Well, I can tell you, me and you were going crazy at the booth. You could hear the fan reaction. And what a moment for Kenny Roczen. That Progressive X-Star Suzuki have just done an incredible job. Great ride by Justin Barsha. I'm going to tell you what, that guy had some serious speed. He's the fastest guy all night in that main event, I believe.
Look at that. Look at how much it meant. Look at how much it meant. And look, it's a family affair. The rock stars, their rock star wives, and their rock star kids.
That is so cool. What a moment. They're going to be able to look back. Lee, you and I, we're fortunate. We have some great kiddos. It's so awesome.
To share it, right? Like, just amazing.
Man, what a special moment.
So there you go, confirmation of the results. So just such a fabulous podium. Nobody would have predicted that. Nobody.
No shot. No shot at all. Hey, look at Justin Hill and Josh Hill.
Yeah, good result.
9th and 11th, that's cool.
Promising nights for the KTM duo, promising night for the Kawasaki guys. I know they'd like to be a little bit higher, but still plenty to take away from that. So, tremendous scenes on the podium with Will Christian and Ken Roczen. Here it is.
Unbelievably incredible. Ken, take it in for a second. Crowd's going crazy. That's all yours. The journey, the grit, the determination that you have shown to get to this point and in that race to hold on to that all the way to the end there. You're the only one who's got the words to explain that, how that feels right now, so share them with us.
You know why? Because this is the OG punk rock style from back in the day, and that's why it happened tonight. This was such an amazing race. I can't even talk right now. I had to grit it out all the way to the end. The track was brutal, and Justin was coming, and I got screwed a little bit by lappers, but I just held on, and I said, one more lap, just one more lap, and one more lap, and we got it done tonight. I mean, I have to give it up to all my guys in the corner. Like, they have worked their asses off, and so have I. And it shows that it pays off, you know?
Absolutely. And now, moving forward, things look different now to you, I'm sure. You've had a couple of weeks of riding, really riding under your belt. It's resulted in this. What's next? Can you do this again?
I hope so, you know. This is what I'm shooting for. Obviously, I had to start tonight, and that was huge with a track like that. I think Chase went down, and I had a little gap and couldn't manage a little bit, but I couldn't let off because when things get really close and really tight out here, it's just not a good thing. So I'm also a little bit under the weather, so that makes it even more sweet. I'm at the loss of words right now, seriously. Unbelievable
is the only word I can find right now. Ken, congratulations. You're back on the top step.
I should probably get a Kickstarter tattooed, huh?
Absolutely.
Just an amazing scene. Just so pleasing to see him so happy. And there was a change in the points. So coming in, there were 3 riders blanketed by 10. That now goes to 13 with Sexton's unfortunate evening, but there's a change at the top. The red plate goes Cooper Webb's way.
A little switch, to your point, yes. And, you know, Cooper's not doing it in a very impressive way, that's for sure. And he's getting some gifts, but hey, you got to be in that. You got to be in those positions to take advantage of those situations, and he did that. It's going to be an uphill battle for both Eli Tomac and Cooper Webb, going back and forth. And what's going to happen, I feel like, is an opportunity to happen, is guys like Ken Roczen, now he knows he can win. When you get that win, you know, like, okay, man, I can do it. I got the speed. Justin Barcia, if he can continue to have that speed and keep that confidence and know that he can ride like he did tonight, he could get in there. And what that will do, that can be an advantage for Cooper Webb. It can be an advantage for Eli Tomac if one of those guys are able to win, and you can get those guys in between. So that's what I'm going to be looking forward to going to next weekend in the next several races. We
know that in the on the different coasts and the different destinations that we travel to with the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship, the dirt has different characteristics where we go. And history tells us what it's like. There are very few surprises. But were you surprised at the track tonight? I was. I haven't seen a track like this in a long time outside of a mud race. So it was really fun and enjoyable to me to watch these guys race in these conditions, because that's what I grew up racing in my early years. You know, like the dirt wasn't as dry. So it was fun to see these guys kind of adapt. And there were a lot of faces up there, a lot of riders up there that I really wasn't anticipating to be up there, not because they're not capable of doing it. They're plenty skilled enough. But it was really cool to see them navigate it and adapt to what is, I think, it for sure was one of the most brutal conditions we've seen all year. So Dean Wilson was a victim of it. So too was Chase Sexton. There were multiple incidents here. Look, it caught Cooper Webb out, and this is what allowed Barcia on the left to gain ground on him and then ultimately execute a pass. I mean, just all around the different parts of the track, going through the whoops. Look how deep that was. I can tell you at the end of the night, Justin Barcia was so blown away by how deep the ruts were. He went back out on the track and lay in one of the ruts. Just to show his crew like how deep they were and how crazy it was. Yeah, I mean, it was treacherous, absolutely treacherous. And, you know, our camera guys did a great job showing that and just how difficult those ruts was. So kudos to everyone in the trailer and the camera guys getting those, because it was difficult. It was really, really difficult. And the speeds that those guys are able to ride and go that fast and how they have to adjust and be looking ahead, it's incredible. They're true athletes, and I love watching them. I respect all of them. Well, with more on the track, here's Daniel.
Well, earlier tonight in the show, Ricky asked me about the edges of the track, what lines might be taken. I figured I'd show you what was available, and it's a big old nothing right now late. I mean, 20 minutes plus 1 lap. We knew the track would get like this, but I want y'all to see what it actually looks like, and you need to know that this is everywhere. This is every section. This is the whoops, the finish line jump, the triple, and I mean, we'll start over on this left side. Ricky talked about the edges. The very edge, there is maybe a little bit of room here. This rut is not good. These are all bad ones. There's like one decent one right here that's sort of straight. Come all the way back to the middle. It gets really bad on this right side, which is where these guys lead out of the corner. I mean, it's like this around the entire track. So if you're watching that race late and you're wondering how Roczen and Barcia are approaching those final laps, just know that they're worried about each other. They're at their most tired they've been all day, and they're having to focus so much focus on every single jump, because you can't take one jump off. So I just want you all to see, these are the best Supercross riders in the world. We see it all the time, but when you see a track like this, it really brings to life how good they are, and what a show on an absolutely terrifying dirt bike track, guys.
And just look at that. Just look just on Daniel's legs, how far it came up. And, you know, Ricky, you said it, the theme earlier the night, pick a rut and good luck. So, and good luck heading to Detroit, the Motor City, because things aren't going to get any easier. That's for sure in the next round of the Monster Energy AMA Supercross Championship and SuperMotocross World Championship. The Yamaha track map as we look ahead to next week and what's in store.
Look at that. A lot of back and forths, crisscrossing across the start straight. Those are some passing opportunities, some short shoots. So guys doing your analysts and watching your tape, think about those tracks that we've seen in the past where the guys are good on these tight tracks. Those are probably are going to be the guys that are going to be good in Detroit.
Guess what? Headed to Detroit, we are officially into the second half of the Supercross season. This is how you can watch. A quick reminder about Ryan Villapoto and Ricky's new podcast. What's it up to? Episode 3?
Yeah,
that'll be episode 3.
Title 24.
Yep, drops every Tuesday, and you can watch that at Motorsports on NBC on YouTube. There is your menu for how to watch, and there will also be an encore presentation on CNBC. That will be the Detroit round. Do you have a feel on this championship?
No.
Do you have a handle on it?
I don't.
I like that. I like that you don't have a handle on it because it's good for everybody. It's good for the viewers, good for the fans, it's good for us. Have fun in Detroit.
I will. It's going to be good.
Well, Indy wasn't good. Indy was great. What a night here in Lucas Oil Stadium. Just to fire up the fans, and there were loads of them. This place was packed, and this championship is alive in more ways than one. On behalf of Daniel Blair, Will Christian, Ricky Carmichael, I'm Lee Diffie, saying thanks for watching Supercross on your home of motorsport.